And boom! What's up, everybody? Welcome to the year-end 2019 decade-ending live stream today. Great to see everybody. I haven't been on a live stream in, it seems like 2 weeks or so, an unusually long time for me, because I usually try and get on a couple times a week. Billy's on here moderating. Aaron's going to be jumping in and out. I have a sale going on, a New Year's Day sale. It's the New Year's bundle. I did it for, what was it? The day after Thanksgiving, what was that called? Black Friday. I did a Black Friday sale, and I'm going to do the same sale, but it's with some extra PDFs on it. It's a New Year's bundle, 50% off the Beato book and my Instagram and YouTube transcription, which is 45 PDFs and 600 pages total, and the discount code is 2020. Very easy to remember. Okay. So we're going to do a 2019 year-end music theory review today. So I'm going to talk about some basics. I once did a video called What Every Pro Needs to Know About Music. And it had to do with music theory. But I'm going to start and talk about building chords, talking about how to name chords. And we're going to start with triads. We're going to move to seventh chords. We're going to do added note chords. And then we're going to do extended chords. And then talk about chord scales and how they go with this. Now, for those of you that feel like this is moving too fast, stay with it. And just come back and watch it again, okay? It's going to be up here forever, or forever, however long YouTube is around, and you just come back and watch it, okay? But don't watch it on slow motion because it'll sound really strange. Okay, so the thing I want to talk about first is we're going to start with triads that come from a major scale. We're going to start with the C major scale. So the first thing to know about are and I'm always drilling this with everybody. In every major scale or major key, there are three major chords, 1, 4, and 5. You just think of a blues. And you think, what are in the key of C? C, F, G, 1, 4, 5. Those are the major chords. The minor chords in the key of C, or any major key, are 2, 3, and 6. I'm using lowercase Roman numerals for that, 2, 3, and 6. And then the chord built on the seventh scale degree, the triad, is a diminished chord. So you use a small circle to indicate diminished, okay? So it's right here. So the chords in the key of C are C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, okay? Now, one thing that I like to teach, and I do this in my ear training course as well, because you need to be able to understand and recognize all these different triads. You don't just recognize, okay, you can say, okay, that's a major chord. You might not know it's C major, but you should be able to recognize it's a major chord. Well, in identifying triads, I also include the sus4, that would be C sus4, and I also include the sus2. And if you go to my Beato book, starting on page 12 up through into the 20s, probably up to page 30, it details all these things, all the formulas of these chords. But we're going to talk about those today. Okay, so I always look at the sus2 and sus4 of every scale degree. Some of them are Phrygian, some of them are Lydian. I'll explain it in a second. So the C chord, under the subcategories of the C major, I put C sus2 and C sus4. Okay, so here's C major. I raise the third up one scale degree and I get C sus4, C, F, G. And then I take this middle scale degree E and I move it down to make it a C sus2. So C, D, G. Okay, so you can hear those. And you should be able to recognize them by ear. Part of my ear training course, if you go to beatoeartraining.com, when you get into the triad modules, they will drill you on these, being able to hear sus4 chords, sus2 chords, Lydian chords, Phrygian chords, and all the different triads that you need to be able to recognize by ear, okay? If you go to the second scale degree, D minor, you get a D sus2 and a D sus4, okay? Those are the two. So I go D minor, D sus4, D sus2. So when I'm practicing these things, if I'm playing on my guitar or the piano, then you go to D minor, D sus4, D sus2, and D minor. Okay, you want to be familiar with those. Thank you, Troll, so much for that. Appreciate that. When I get to E minor is a little bit different, right? Because we have that flat 2. We have E sus4, but then we have E, F, B. Okay, and I call that a Phrygian triad. So this is E Phrygian. And then we have E sus4. The Phrygian triad, because this is our first unusual one. Whoops. Phrygian is 1 flat 2 5. That's the formula. So that's going to be E, F, B in the key of C. Okay, that's a Phrygian triad. When you get to F, you have F sus2, and then you have an F Lydian triad. Okay, Lydian would be this. So 1 sharp 4 5. So here's F major, F sus2, F G C, and F Lydian. 1 sharp 4 5. Okay, so F Lydian, the Lydian triad formula is 1 sharp 4 5. That would be F B C. Okay, those are your unusual. There's one other set of them in the scale. When you get to the 5th scale degree, G major, so you get G, G sus4, G sus2, G. G sus2, sus2, and G sus4. When you get to A minor, you get A minor, A sus4, A sus2, A minor. You always hear these kind of things. If you're doing pop music, whatever, when you get to these different scale degrees, the 6 chord, the 2 chord, the 5 chord, people will use these different suspensions, and they can become added note chords if you add a. If I actually put the second in there, we'll talk about these added note chords in a second, but let's continue on. So you got A sus2, and then, hold on. Sorry about that. A sus2, A sus4. We all good, Bill? Everybody can hear? Mm-hmm. Okay, now, thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. Oh, man, it's amazing. Happy New Year. You guys are the best. I see all these super chats in here. I'll get to those in a minute. Billy, give me a shout out when you see one. That's really great. So appreciated. When you get to B diminished, this is a little bit tricky. Okay, so you have the notes. You have B diminished. I'll play it down here. But then I have this chord, which is B, E, F, and I call that a sus4 flat 5. And I call this B, C, F. I call that a flat 2 flat 5 chord. So we have B flat 2 flat 5, and we have B, I would call this a B Locrian triad. I'm sorry. This is B Locrian, and this is B sus4 flat 5. So B Locrian, I'm running out of room here. I'm just going to erase this here. So our Locrian triad is a 1 flat 2 flat 5. Phrygian is 1 flat 2 5. Locrian is 1 flat 2 flat 5. So this would be B, C, F. B to F is a flat 5. Okay, so that's where this naming comes in. When I say sus4 flat 5, sus4 flat 5, 1 4 flat 5. Okay, that would be the notes B, right? So you got B, then you have E, which is a sus4, and then F. So that's your sus4 flat 5. B, E, F. Okay, everybody can see that, right? Yeah. Once again, being able to recognize these by ear is very important. And you might say, well, why do you have to know these things? Well, a lot of these sounds can become parts of other chords. For example, if I play this is an F Lydian triad, but I can play it over A in the bass. And that gives you a flat 6 sound or an Aeolian sound. Really beautiful, beautiful tone to that, right? It really accentuates the notes of that Aeolian mode. This is how you describe things. I could do it if I took a C, I could take a C major chord, and if I go, or, that's a very Lydian sound right there. You hear that sharp 4 sound right here. C major. Right? That right there describes Lydian. John Williams, a lot of film composers will use that all the time. I'm going to do a new set of videos on modes where I'm going to talk about this. But these little cells that I call these, that would be a little Lydian cell in the middle of, in this chord here, E minor, and I put that C Lydian sound in the middle of that, and that creates a beautiful, because it's a constant structure in the middle of this, and it creates these beautiful, beautiful tones. Really great for film composing. You can use it in pop music, use it in anything, okay? All right, so here are all of our triads in the key of C major. Now, if I take this out and I extend every one of these chords to 7th chords, okay, I'm going to add a 7th on all of these. If I add a 7th here, it becomes C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7. Then this one, because B half diminished, or we call it B minor 7 flat 5. So I go like this, minus 7 flat 5, okay? That's a half diminished chord. So these are all the 7th chords in the key of C. So if we take our chart again, in a major key, the 7th chords, 1 and 4 are major 7ths, 1 and 4, okay? These, I would write major 7 on those, but I'm not going to do that. You can understand it. The minor 7th chords are 2, I'll go like that, 3, and 6. Your 5 chord is dominant 7, okay? And your 7th chord, your 7 chord is minor 7 flat 5, okay? That equals 7, that'd be minor 7 flat 5, okay? The Roman numerals describe it. Capital Roman numerals imply major chords. Lowercase Roman numerals imply minor chords. I would actually go like this. 1 major 7. This is the proper way to do it. 4 major 7. Now, you do the same thing with these that you do with the suspensions. I would do the same thing. I'd take C major 7, right? Then I would make it C major 7. I'll do it up here. So here's your C major 7 right here. C major 7, sus4, or C major 7, sus2. You hear those chords, you go, oh, I like the sound of that. That sounds good. C major 7, C major 7, sus4, C major 7, sus2. Okay? So, once again, C major 7, sus4, or sus2, C major 7, sus4. Now, I'm not going to go over all these because they're in my book. Once again, I'm doing a 50% off sale, discount code 2020 for all of my YouTube bundle. I only offered it one day this past year, which was on Black Friday. I'm going to offer it for today and tomorrow, so it's half price off. Discount code 2020. The YouTube and Instagram transcription bundle. I know a lot of you had wanted to know about transcriptions of my Instagram posts. I've got a lot of them on there. We just finished the one of the latest ones, that really out one I did the other day that's got about 82,000 views or so. And I was getting a lot of emails about it if there's a transcription. So we just finished a transcription. It's part of the bundle. So it's it's 600 pages all told between the two of those, and it's half off of that. Thank you, Deb, so much. You're the best. All right, so what you want to do again when you're practicing these is you practice each scale degree. So I go major 7, sus4, major 7, sus2, major 7. Then I go minor 7. This would be a dominant 7, sus4, or it could be minor 7, sus4, and then that would be a D sus2 with a major 7, with a minor 7. So it's a minor 7 with a sus2. Okay? And you would go through all the scale degrees in the same way. Okay, then you get the Phrygian flat 7 there. Right? And then F major 7, F major 7 sus2, F Lydian major 7. So the names are all the same. G7, G dominant 7 sus4, G sus2 with a flat 7, and so on and so forth. And what you want to do is you want to practice these, okay? You want to practice them as constant structures. That would be C major 7, then I would do C major 7 sus4, and I would do C major 7 sus2. And I'd go through each scale degree and I would practice them, all of those arpeggios, okay? Once again, those can be used as parts of chords. If I play C major 7 sus4, yeah, I can play it with C in the bass. I could play it with E in the bass, or like that. I love that. Or I can go. Beautiful, beautiful sound. I can go with I can do, this would be F major 7 sus2. I can put F major 7 sus2 over A minor. Ah, beautiful. That gives me that flat 6 sound once again. It's a beautiful sound. Film composers use these things all the time. You hear them in jazz as well, but you also hear them in pop music. I mean, I hear chords like that in pop music, in good pop music. Okay, all right, I don't really hear that anymore. I used to hear it. Okay, next, I want to talk about extended chords and added note chords, okay? Because it's not exactly the same thing. Added note chords. So when somebody says C add 9, what do they mean? What does C add 9 mean? Well, C add 9 is exactly what it says. It's really C major add 9. C major, and I add the 9th. Well, why do you call D the 9th? So C add 9 is the notes C, D, E, G. Here's your C major triad right there. This note is the 9th. Well, you'll say, well, D, why isn't that the 2nd? It is the 2nd. Just people refer to it as the 9th. This is why. If you take a C major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 9th note of the scale is the note D, right? That would really be a C add 9, right? C major with an added 9th. But typically people play it down. Typically people will play it down the octave altogether in one grouping like that, okay? So that would be a C add 9. You could also have a C major, or a C Lydian major is what I call it. So I go like this, C Lydian major, okay? You can use a triad for major. There's many different symbols. You should be familiar with all of them, okay? But a C Lydian major, or you'd go C, this is the way that I do it on my videos, is add sharp 4. That's how you write it, Billy. We put it in parentheses usually, right? Yeah. Or just C add sharp 4. I like to put it in parentheses just so it's not confusing. Sometimes I put the add 9 in parentheses. You don't even need the parentheses. Let me make that sharp 4. C add sharp 4. So that means C major with the C major with the added sharp 4. I know it's Meet George Jetson. Everybody says that. But these kind of sounds are really great to use also. I use arpeggios with that all the time. I love that sound. But if you use it over E, that sounds beautiful to me. I'm sorry if I'm trying not to play too loud because I know the speakers are right next to the computer here. Okay, so C add sharp 4 is C major, so C, E, G, and we're going to add that F sharp in there. So this is 1, 3, 5, and there's your sharp 4. You could say add sharp 11 too, same thing. The 9 equals 2, 11 equals 4, 13 equals the 6th. That means the scale degree. So the 9th in the key of C major is the D, the 11 is the F, which is the 4th, and the 13 is the A, which is the 6th, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes of the scale, okay? Don't be confused by these things. Always remember, the 9th and the 2nd are the same thing. When they refer to the 9th, they're referring it to a next octave above, but it's very common to just call the 9th in the same octave. Add 9 is the same as add 2. They're interchangeable. You should know them as both. If you want to get specific on it, like in our ear training course, when we do add 9s, we actually do it, well, we do it both ways. We do it this way, and we do it this way. Okay? Once again, sale, Beato book and the YouTube Instagram transcription bundle, 600 pages, is on sale for half price, discount code 2020. It's our New Year's special. It'll be on until midnight tomorrow night. All right. Now, so these are common things to have. Add sharp 4. We already have the add 4, the major add 4 too. So that would be this. If I do this, C major add 4. Now that would be a C major triad. And I add the 4th to that. Okay, so that would be C, E, F, G. So 1, 3, 4, 5. Now these kind of chords, if you listen to one of my, when I did the Asia piano solo, or the drum solo with Wayne Shorter. Now if I deconstruct that chord, that's a B flat minor with the 9th and the 11th, but I have this in it. Okay, that is an A major chord with the 4th. So I'd say A major add 4, and I just put it over B and F sharp. That's a great sound. So these add 4s, add sharp 4s, beautiful, beautiful sounds that you should be familiar with, and you should be able to recognize them by ear instantly. Okay? That's what my ear training course does. Go check out the video at beatoeartraining.com. You'll see a demo of how the thing works, and we go through all these. We go through all the 7th chords, all the triads, all the added note chords. We go through all the dominant chords with extensions, which we're going to talk about next, okay? So any of these chords that we have, any of the triads, we can put 7ths on them, right? So if I take, let's say I take a C Lydian triad, and I put a Lydian with a major 7. Okay, what does that mean? Well, I take a C Lydian chord, and I put a major 7 on it. That would be a C Lydian major 7. 1 sharp 4 5 major 7, okay? C, F sharp, G, B. 1 sharp 4 5 7. That's a C Lydian triad with a major 7. I could do C Lydian flat 7, which would be 1 sharp 4 5 flat 7. Okay, same thing. I can do triads like we could do. I want to talk about dominant chords now. Let's say that we do. I'm going to take the C major off of here. We can take a dominant chord, G7, right? G, B, D, F. 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Okay? Then you have your upper extensions. Here's your extensions. We have the flat 9, which would be A flat, flat 9. We have A, which is the 9th. We have A sharp, which is the sharp 9. These are so fun. I love these extensions, right? Then we have the altered fifths, right? So it could be with the flat 5, which would be the note D flat is the flat 5. And then we have D sharp, which is the sharp 5. Or E flat, which is the flat 13. You'll hear these referred to different things, but they're all the same sonically, all right? If I have a G7 chord, right, and I raise that D up 1, that's an augmented dominant chord, okay? 1, 3, sharp 5, flat 7, okay? Now, flat 13 would imply that it's in the upper octave. And typically, when somebody's referring to these chords, they're talking about it in relation to an altered dominant scale, okay, where you have those notes. Billy, what's up? No. Okay, I thought Billy was telling me something here. That would be if I have, let's say I take this shell of G and F, okay? I add the B to it. So I have 1, flat 7, and 3, and then I start adding these notes to it. If I add this note, that would be your flat 13, okay? Because it's 13 notes, but I'd probably want to put something else like that in there, or maybe like that in there. This would be a G7 with a sharp 9 and flat 13. Sharp 9, sharp 5, I call it. So the flat 13 and the sharp 5 are the same thing, but that sound, you guys have all heard that sound. That's a very common sound, but that's the altered dominant sound right there. It's a beautiful, beautiful sound. You could have the flat 9 and the sharp 5. You could have the flat 9 and the flat 5. I love that. You could have the sharp 9 and the flat 5. Right? There's a lot of different possibilities with these altered chords. So knowing where these different alterations are is really important. I didn't have the 13th in there. You have the 13th also, which would be the note E. But just know that you should know the sharp 9, the flat 9, sharp 9, flat 5, and sharp 5 of every one of these. You should be able to recognize them. They can be used in any combination. You can have a G7, sharp 9, sharp 5. You can have a G7 flat 9, flat 5. You can have a G7. You put them in any combination like that. These are altered dominant chords. When people talk about altered dominant, though, they're typically talking about dominant chords that have a sharp fifth, okay? If we're talking about the diminished scale, then you start getting into chords that have like a G13 flat 9. I know it's getting in the weeds here. I'm going to get back. G13 flat 9. This would be from the dominant diminished scale because this implies G, B, D, F. The 13 is E, and the flat 9 is A flat. So 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 13, flat 9. Okay, that would be a 13 flat 9. That would be this kind of a sound if I had this. Okay, this would be from the diminished scale, the half-whole diminished scale. And the difference between the dominant diminished and altered dominant is that the dominant diminished has a natural fifth in it and no sharp 5, okay? The altered dominant scale has a sharp 5 with no natural fifth. Okay, that's something, the book gets into all these kind of things. You just have to, this gets into more extended theory here. What you really need to know, though, are how to analyze chords that are, you need to know how to build chords just from looking at their name. People always ask me, well, how do you name this chord, or how do you create this scale? Like somebody wrote to me and they said, what is a, Lydian sharp 2 or something like that? I can't remember. Lydian sharp 2, sharp 6. And I said, well, take a Lydian scale. Let's say we take C Lydian, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7. I write the notes in C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. And they say sharp 2. Okay, so I make a sharp 2, sharp 6. Okay, I just raise these notes, A sharp and D sharp, right? There's my scale. The scale names tell you exactly what to do to the scales. Take a C Lydian scale, add a sharp 2, add a sharp 6. That's how modes get their names. And all you simply do, if you know the basic modes of the major scale, it pretty much every other mode from the melodic minor, harmonic major, double harmonic major are all built off those same modal names. Not always. Superlocrian is a name that you use in the melodic minor scale. Okay, that's related to Locrian, but some people call it the altered dominant scale. Some people call it the diminished whole tone scale. I know it by all three names. Okay, so knowing basic chord names, right? How to build a triad, a major, minor, diminished, and augmented triad, and how to use those added notes, what they mean when you say add this. It simply means to add that note to a triad. Okay, if I have a C minor triad, add sharp 4. I added a sharp 4. Or C minor, add 9. Okay, how about C minor, add 3? That's a C minor, add 3. The chord gives you the directions on what to do. Okay. Donald, thank you very much. Appreciate it. If there's any questions, put them in the comments below. This is the last live stream of 2019. It's actually the last live stream of the decade, okay? It's really hard to believe. It's literally the end of a decade. When I started in 2010, I was producing bands and rock music was still on the radio. It's hilarious, right? No. There was radio. I don't think there was Spotify back then. Was anyone doing streaming back then? I think people were still using MP3s. In 2010, Billy? I can't. Yeah, you know what? I went back yesterday and I was looking at 2010 and some of the bands that were out. And half of them that were bands everybody was talking about, you don't even hear, nobody's heard of now. It's like, what? It's unbelievable. It's crazy. Discount code 2020. 50% off the bundle, which is the Instagram YouTube transcription bundle, which is 100 and some odd pages. It's like 10 pages, something like that. 140 pages. It's 140 something, 150 pages. It's 600 pages, over 600 pages together with the Beato book. It's for the price of a discounted Beato book. You actually get both. Brian, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. For everybody that's given super chat here, I appreciate so much. I'll go through and look after and I will respond here. Napster, Joe. I see Joe in there. Napster was still going on back then in 2010, right? Napster was really bigger in the early 2000s, but it was still, I think Napster was still kind of a thing then. Ooh. But what's that?
Anthony gave you $50.
Anthony, yeah! Man, it must be delayed. Oh, you're the best, Anthony. Thank you so much. Listen, everybody, drive responsibly tonight if you're drinking. I'm not one to preach on stuff like that, but I want you to be around for tomorrow, okay? Be around for yourself, for your families. Call an Uber, call a Lyft, whatever you need to do. Take the subway, take a bus. And this has been a great year. Looking forward to even more enjoyable 2020. We're going to do even more great things. We're going to get up to 100 What Makes This Song Greats. I'm going to get some more film scoring videos in. I've got some new libraries coming in for orchestral libraries coming in. We're going to do some more of the advanced theory videos. I've got some cool top 20 lists I've been working on, some very fun ones. And check out those latest videos, the top 20 vocal intros and my latest What Makes This Song Great, which was, Billy, what was it? Come on, Billy. Carry on. Carry on, Wayward Son, Kansas. Yeah. Phil, thank you so much. You can give me Robin Ford's info. Do it. Write to me, Phil. You're the man. Thank you so much, everyone. Happy New Year. You guys are the best. We will speak later. Thank you.